Fujian Province. Today we are pleased to have invited Vice Minister of Education and the Director of the National Committee of UNESCO, the Organizing Committee Director of 44th Session of the World Heritage Committee, and Chairman of the 44th Session, Tian Xuejun, as well as Vice Governor of Fujian, the Preparatory Committee Vice Head of this 44th session, Mr. Zheng Jieming, to give us a brief introduction about this session and to take your questions. Also, I would love to present to the other guests, for example, the leaders from the National Forestry and Grassland Administration, Yan Chenggao, from the National Cultural Heritage Administration, Mr. Zhang Lei, and from Fuzhou, Vice Mayor Li Chunlei. And now let's give the floor to Tian Xuejun. Ladies and gentlemen, dear media friends, good afternoon. It's a real pleasure for me to be present for this presser. The 44th session of the World Heritage Committee will be initiated since July the 16th in Fuzhou City of Fujian Province. First of all, I would love to give my thanks to the friends from different circles of lives for your support and attention to this session. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the CPC and also the 50th anniversary of China's admission into the UNESCO. So at this critical moment for China to stage the World Heritage Committee, which is the most important event for UNESCO, it is of great significance. General Secretary Xi Jinping attaches great importance to cultural and natural protection with a series of new ideas, new thoughts, and new strategies, spurring the development of Chinese culture and nature development with initial results accomplished, also promoting the international cooperation over the heritage protection. And according to General Secretary Xi Jinping, the historical and cultural heritage has been transmitted to the descendants by our ancestors. We must protect them. Man and nature must be living in harmony, and there is no replacement of the natural system. We must protect the integrity of the natural systems so as to leave something behind us for our descendants. As to development and utilization of the heritages, he said that we must hold ourselves accountable for history, for our people. We must pass on those historical heritages and better protect and utilize history and nature. In our protection, we seek development, and in development, we must maintain our protection. Open, green, and sharing development concepts must be carried forward, and we must leave enough time and space for the restoration of nature in development process. As to communication, he said that the communication between civilizations has played a key role for the world peaceful development and the civilizational development of mankind as a whole. We all live in a shared future, and protecting the environment is a common challenge and responsibility of the globe. Since the 18th National Congress, under the guidance of General Secretary Xi Jinping, China has added 12 more world natural and cultural heritages. Now China has 55 world heritages, ranking number 1 together along with Italy. And in this session, we will apply for other cultural heritages. For example, the Maritime Commercial Center. So China is likely to add another one heritage. Another thing to mention is this session is being staged against the background of epidemic transmission across the world. So as the host country, China, together with the Secretariat of UNESCO, the Committee of the World Heritage Committee, and all the other nations who are signatories of the Nature protection-related conventions to accomplish our tasks for this committee. And we hope to have some highlights for this session. First, innovative forms. Starting from July the 16th, the session will be launched in Fuzhou. Since then, we will be the main responsible country, namely the secretary of the executive committee, and we will deliver some remarks. The signatories of the convention, the embassies, consulates, and international organizations with their offices in China will gather here in Fuzhou. After the opening ceremony, the session will turn to the online platform. That's the first online session of the World Heritage Committee in its history, and we will employ a series of the procedures as before, and we must combine online and offline platforms. Second, achievements to be expected. This session is a long session, and we will review 2 years of applications, including 45 World Heritage List and 258 status reports of the World Heritages. Compared to the previous sessions, that workload is doubling those of before. And for different lists of World Heritages, there will be updates according to the procedure. Whether those applications can be approved, we require a complete approval process, and professional international organizations will give us recommendations. In the final analysis, the Committee of the World Heritage will hold negotiation for a final decision. Please stay tuned with us. Meanwhile, during this session, we will focus on the World Heritage protection related challenges and risks. We will solicit opinions from a broad sense and propose the recommendations to rise up to the challenges. And we pursue a consensus, an initiative for common development of the World Heritages. We hope to contribute to this undertaking. Third, rich contents of the session. During the session, different organizations will hold their respective annual conferences. For example, together with UNESCO, China will hold the World Heritage Youth Forum, the World Heritage Sites Administrator Conference, and the Ministry of Commerce also will hold the education-themed conferences. It will invite ministers from different nations and ambassadors stationed in UNESCO to discuss how to promote the transmission and education of the knowledge of the World Heritage protection, particularly among the youngsters. We hope to cultivate the protectors and inheritors of the World Heritage's civilizations. So that's all I would love to brief you about the 44th session of the World Heritage Committee. Now, we are at the last sprint stage of the conference. Different preparatory work has been ready, and we will stage you a wonderful and safe conference. And the information office and the official website of the session have already been prepared. We will give you the newest updates about the session through those channels. Next, Mr. Zheng Jianming, please. Good afternoon. I would love to thank our media friends and different circles for your support of Fujian. And I would also love to thank the SCIO for staging this presser. The 44th session of the World Heritage Committee, as has been introduced, will be launched in Fuzhou. This is one of the highest level international conferences. Fujian government pays higher attention, and under the support of the Forestry and Grassland Administration and Cultural Heritage Administration, as well as the National Committee of UNESCO, we are preparing for this conference so as to have a safe conference. And firstly, based on the principle of humanity, we will carry on General Secretary Xi Jinping's call for civilizational communication, cultural development, and so on. 6 batches of cultural heritage protection and a series of exhibition of those cultural heritages will be conducted simultaneously so as to present the highlights of Fujian. Second, digitalization of the conference. We will combine online and offline channels. We will refer to 5G, cloud computing, AI technologies to make this conference more interactive and smarter. Third, Green Conference. We will follow the advanced principles of the World Heritage Committee and practice green traveling and environmental protection measures. We will improve the heritage utilization level and the outlook of the city. Meanwhile, we will never drop our vigilance against the epidemic. We will strictly implement the epidemic control measures. We will also guarantee the data protection and cybersecurity so that this conference will be held in a safe manner. Fujian is home to a lot of natural resources, and it is a civilized province. We have always been implementing General Secretary Xi Jinping's instructions about cultural heritage protection. We execute the spirit of Xi during his visit to Fujian, and we will comprehensively improve the utilization level of the cultural heritages. And we sincerely welcome all the media friends to show your presence in this session and tour around Fuzhou to share the great feat. Next, we will open the floor to Q&A, and please identify yourself before raising the question. From CMG, my question is to Vice Minister Tian Xuqun. Since 1985, when China was admitted into the convention, 55 World Heritages have been chosen into the list from China, and China's World Heritage protection must have done some contribution. So what is the contribution made by China in the global arena? Thank you for your question, and I am more than happy to share my personal feelings. China has always attached a great importance to the protection of cultural heritages. Since 1985, when China signed the convention, we have made a long way in natural and cultural heritages. As has been mentioned, we have now 55 World Heritages listed, with key protection measures in place. Over the past 36 years, the Chinese government has always been practicing our commitments to the convention, accumulating rich experience, contributing to the world heritage protection with the Chinese plan, Chinese wisdom, and Chinese power. To sum it up, I think there are 4 points to make about the contribution. First, innovative concepts of protection. Second, improvement of the governing system. Third, capacity building. Fourth, international cooperation. And to be more detailed, firstly, the innovative protection measures could be seen in the slogan by General Secretary Xi Jinping that green is gold. The natural system is seen as one, and humanity must protect the cultural heritages for generations to come. The historical heritages could not be reborn, so we must always give top priority to protection. He has given a lot of instructions about interaction of civilizations so as to revitalize those heritages on Earth. Those instructions are in line with the convention, highlighting the concepts of the World Heritages, enriching the World Heritage protection effort and contents. Second, the governing system. China has made the World Heritage protection as a national strategy. We have built a network of heritage protection and transmission of the World Heritage has been highlighted. It is also taken into the 5-in-1 strategy. We also have passed the PRC Heritage Protection Law and the other regulations. Those available regulations offer legal guidance for the protection efforts. After decades of efforts, China has already built central and local World Heritage protection management, monitoring, and research systems. Realizing scientific plan of the heritage site and effective monitoring. We also mobilize the whole society to participate in the commitment honoring of the convention. We will replicate the good practices nationwide so that the heritage site protection will be continuously improved. Our efforts have been thought highly of by our peers internationally. Thirdly, we make full use of professional organizations and new technologies to contribute more feasible pathways and measures of heritage protection. For example, with the remote imaging and the space technologies, we offer more effective support to the heritage protection. With the internet technologies like big data, we will have more intelligent plan for the protection. With the virtual technologies and the digitalized technologies, we will restore the World Heritage sites so that the undertaking will be more interactive. And as to the students and the general public, we have held various educational and promotional campaigns. We are also cultivating talents. We have done a lot of researches, bringing about a team of experts. Fourth, international cooperation. China actively participates in the international governance of World Heritages. For 4 times, China served as the committee member, contributing with Chinese wisdom to the management of heritages. And we also practice Africa First strategy of UNESCO to help Africa with heritage protection. In Kenya, Nepal, we also help them with heritage protection and restoration. We support related Tier 2 centers of UNESCO with capacity building and the monitoring of heritages. For years, China, with a high sense of responsibility and mission, we are protecting the World Heritages, which are seen as the common wealth of mankind. We will take the 44th session as a good opportunity to conduct more in-depth communication over heritage protection with the other nations, with new contributions following. Next question. Thank you. Haibao News. It has been taken into the 5-in-1 strategy nationally to protect the heritages. So how are we protecting and utilizing the natural heritages, and what is the role of the natural heritages in the ecological civilization development? Thank you. Now, I would love to answer your question. Like Minister Tian said, there are 55 world heritages in China, including 14 natural heritages and 4 cultural and natural heritages, ranking number 1. And the natural heritages have become an important carrier of ecological civilization. We have a vast land area, and most of the natural heritages reside in the less developed regions, so the management, research, and protection are more difficult. Right now, for the natural heritages protection, they rely on the integrated management with the sites. And we have successfully protected 70,000 kilometers of those natural heritages. We also have cultivated a series of renowned villages, cities with heritages, and we also brought 14 billion RMB yuan of tourism revenues. And I would also love to make the following points for the natural heritage's role. Firstly, a good exploration and a vivid example of ecological civilization development. We have national parks at a pilot level. Together with other tourist spots, the number at over 100. We have protected a system of natural heritages, promoting biodiversity and carrying forward the excellent natural heritages. We are using those natural heritage protection as a good example to show China's unremitting efforts and responsibility. Second, green development and village rejuvenation. The utilization of natural heritages have always combined the heritage protection with people's livelihood. In line with local conditions, we used different means to benefit the local people. For example, ecology-based tourism has triggered development of the local industry. The protection work has been combined with the local people's lives. For example, in natural heritage of Yunnan Province, with 3 rivers crossing by together, we have actively explored the development model of the beautiful villages and accomplishing the poverty alleviation task. So this has already become a carrier of ecology development. And in recent years, the different circles of lives have paid higher attention and participated more actively in the natural heritage protection work, giving us a favorable environment of environment protection. And also, this is conducive to transmitting the Chinese culture. And together with the Day of World Heritage, we have educated the general public. Thank you. Next question, please. From Hongxin News, General Secretary Xi Jinping has once worked in Fujian, and during those time, he already paid high attention to cultural heritage protection with a lot of forward-looking insights. So, how has Fujian Province been practicing the efforts of natural and cultural heritage protection? During General Secretary Xi Jinping's serving time in Fujian Province, he has made a lot of remarks about the cultural heritage protection and development. I can give you several examples. During his work in Xiamen, Gulang Yu was taken as a national treasure. During the fiscal tight days, the Bagua building on Gulang Yu Island was refurbished, transforming the destiny of that old building. Since then, General Secretary Xi Jinping has given other instructions so as to build a long-term mechanism and better protect the heritages left by our ancestors. During he served in Fuzhou City, he established a 4-1 mechanism. First, establishing a cultural heritage protection bureau and a team of archaeologists. And also established a cultural heritage management bureau. Every year, the budget was 1 million for that purpose. That was hard one. And in March this year, during Xi's visit to Wuyishan Mountain, one of our World Heritage sites, said that Wuyishan Mountain has unprecedented heritage resources, which is our pride, so we must better protect it. Fujian Provincial government has strictly executed those instructions. For example, cultural heritage protection has been taken into the comprehensive performance evaluation system of our government officials. And we also have improved our legal system by establishing a team of protection. And it is also directly managed by the provincial government. We also have built our capacity in archaeology with higher input financially. We have stepped higher in heritage protection. We also learn from international practices. Planning comes first, and legislation will guarantee the efforts. We will improve the scientific plan of the heritage protection and improve the completeness and integrity of the heritages. For example, we have made certain laws and regulations with a monitoring system. Wuyishan Mountain has seen a national park pilot being established, and we have upgraded the management measures, for example, with the categorization in place. In Gulangyu Island, we have established a committee to set up a cap for daily visitors. In general, we have been developing these heritages during protection and vice versa. We also encourage the community to participate. For example, in Fuzhou City, we are giving new spices to the old communities. For those traditional neighborhoods, we are trying to integrate those old neighborhoods with the modern culture, and we welcome you to walk through those old streets. Fujian is home to 4 World Heritages, ranking number 5 in China. Particularly, Wuyishan Mountain has 2 titles of natural and cultural heritages. In addition, Gulangyu Island and others, like Minister Tian said, this year we are submitting Quanzhou, the International Maritime and Commercial Center, will be reviewed during the 44th session. And in Minnan, the red brick architecture is also the source of our fame. The T corridor for tens of thousands of kilometers have been in the preparatory list of World Heritages. So for the 44th session of the World Heritage Committee to be held in Fuzhou, it will be conducive to enhancing our awareness of heritage protection in a comprehensive way and improve our capacity in that regard continuously. And we will establish a long-term mechanism to improve our management and protection level. We will also inject more cultural contents into our cultural heritage protection efforts. We hope that with this effort, we can play a better role in pursuing high-quality economic development. Next question. From Beijing Broadcasting. And what are the items in the candidate team, and Could you give us your forecast about the review and approval process during the 44th session? Thank you for your question. In the 44th session, Quanzhou World Maritime and Commercial and Trade Center will be reviewed. In 2018, we also applied, and during the 42nd session of the World Heritage Committee, the final decision was to be decided. Since then, we have improved our exhibition and researches of the heritage. We also established our cooperation with international organizations, technically readjusting our measures of protection. This time, the center in Quanzhou is more theme-based, and there will be clearer narrative of our evaluation, and the contents of the heritage site is enriched, so the overall quality of this time has been improved overall. So we are in a brand new stage. And as to the result of the approval process, we are quite positive. We believe that the project in Quanzhou with years of improvement could be recognized by the whole society. Next question. From Macau. Last year, Macau has become an official city for the organization of the World Heritage Committee since Fuzhou. And my question is to Minister Tian. What's your take about the value of Macau in World Heritage protection? I see that Macau government has paid high attention to this undertaking. I would love to refer this question to Mr. Zhang from the Cultural Heritage Administration. And actually, in 2005, Macau was also part of the contributors to the World Heritages. Over the past years, Macau has done a lot for cultural heritage protection. For example, in 2014, a more complete cultural heritage law was promulgated, targeting at the procedural protection in Macau independently, so the cultural heritage protection in Macau has the laws to rely on. The cultural entities in Macau have also made efforts. We have seen the establishment of the World Heritage Construction Center in Macau, and they observe the principles that are in alignment with the World Heritage Protection principles, paying high attention to the promotion and education of heritage protection among youngsters and neighborhoods, so that the general public can feel the achievements made in heritage protection, and the public could be part of that campaign. Since Fuzhou and Dujiangyan, Macau was also one member of the World Heritage Cities. That expands China's fame and reputation and influence, which is a manifestation of Macau's attitude towards heritage protection. The World Heritage Protection in Macau is also an exhibition of the diversified culture and international cooperation and the inclusiveness of the Chinese civilization. I believe Macau will continue the good work, and under the framework of the Greater Bay Area development landscape, Macau will be an integral part of the national strategies, serving as the bridge, enhancing people's understanding of the Chinese civilization, Macau culture, and the National Cultural Heritage Administration will continue our support of Macau in cultural heritage protection and having a profound connection between Macau and the Chinese mainland. Next question. From the China News Service, because of the influence of the epidemic, this 44th session will also take the online form. How will Fuzhou present the natural heritages Please allow me to introduce the situation in Fuzhou. Fuzhou has 7,000 years of history and 2,200 years of establishment. Cultural heritages are abundant here in Fuzhou. General Secretary Xi Jinping has once worked in Fuzhou, paying high attention to the cultural heritage protection with a serious, forward-looking insights. As Governor Zheng mentioned, President Xi Jinping has proposed the 4-1 mechanism for heritage protection work. Those are the efforts testing the waters of heritage protection, and they're demonstrative. In the past years, Fuzhou has been practicing those concepts. For example, we have continuously done a city-wide heritage protection and restoration in Fuzhou. We have restored 180 key cultural heritages and 1,300 ancient architectures, establishing 17 historical and civilizational neighborhoods. Our cultural heritage protection work has made some progress. Firstly, improvement of top-level design. The series of local laws and regulations and policies have formed a network of citywide and all elements planning system. Second, long-term mechanism is being established. We continuously stepped up our fiscal input into heritage protection, so all those in need of protection will be covered, and protection work has been taken into the yearly performance evaluation mechanism. And the ancient towns have been given full play. There are 2 heritage parks in Fuzhou: Pingshan, Yushan, Wushan, Zhuzifang, Shangxiahang. Yantaishan historical remains have been restored. Mawei Chuanzhen, Gulinggushan, and other unique districts have been created. We hope to create the renowned historical and cultural townships. Fourth, in those featured historical neighborhoods, cultural services and experiential traveling and leisure traveling have given new vigor to the old communities, so the visitors can experience history and culture and the focal customs here. And we also are planning the offline activities with 10 routes of visiting and touring. The offline exhibitions, for example, will exhibit the World Heritages not just in Fuzhou and Fujian Province, but also in China and abroad. We will introduce the achievements made in Fuzhou and our premium practices. And we will also have some afforestation activity. We will invite the guests to plant trees in Liangcuo. And in the Sanfang Jixiang neighborhood, we will have some artistic performance, and the guests will have first-hand experience about the cultural background. In this session, we will also utilize digital technologies. For example, different operators have offered their support of the network. And on our official website, we have set aside a live broadcasting platform. We will speed up the live broadcasting, and the latency is very low, and we have improved the definition. Third, we have individual segment. The guests can log on by themselves, and on the official website, there will be a special column to exhibit the culture in Fujian Province. So the splendor of Fujian will be shown through those videos, carefully collected photos, to show the unique charm of Fujian Province. And we will take the opportunity of the 44th session to start a new round of learning of General Secretary Xi Jinping's spirits of cultural heritage protection. And for Mawei Chuanzhen and Sanwei Qixiang, the Maritime Center and others will be good starting points for our life protection of the World Heritages. We hope to create Fuzhou into an international city, and through this platform of the 44th session, we will revitalize the whole city. We also welcome all our media friends to interview here in Fuzhou City. Next question. From the Phoenix TV, UNESCO and the World Protection Alliance has listed the Australia World Heritage into the list. So what's your take about the politics in that attempt? The World Heritage Committee has solicited the opinions from the professional organization about the issue of the Great Barrier Reef to be listed into the endangered cultural heritages. And that's a professional decision based on the independent review process. The World Heritage Center has already done the clarification for that event. Australia, as a member country of the World Heritage Committee, is of course in the know of the situation. The professional organization's decisions and opinions should be respected, and Australia should do a good job in heritage protection. Instead of accusing the professional organizations and UNESCO. During the 44th session, we will review the protection status of the Great Barrier Reef, and I believe that different member countries will respect the ideas of the professional organizations, and under the principles of science, we will make a proper decision about it. China hosted the 44th session of the World Heritage Committee, so with tangible actions, we will support the World Heritage protection efforts. We are also honoring our responsibilities on the convention. China, as well as the organizing committee of the World Heritage Committee, I would love to say that any manipulation or pressure on the World Heritage Committee is an interruption in our scientific decision, and China is against such intervention. Next question. The last two questions. From the cover. Recently, we have done the national park pilot projects. So what is the role of national parks in cultural heritage protection? Thank you for your question. National parks are also the most important part. They have the unique features and rich resources with the highest biodiversity level. And in China, our natural heritages include the most precious natural resources and biosystem. For the moment, the 10 national park pilot projects have 5 of them as the natural heritage. For example, the Panda, Wuishan Mountain, Zhacuo. They are world natural heritages. By relying on the national parks, those natural heritages could be more strictly managed. In the system of natural heritages, national parks are dominant, and in the key regions of heritage sites, they are the premium protection targets. And the unique natural sites and the excellence of our heritages and the biodiversity could be exemplified in the national parks. So I think the national parks are the key areas for the treasurable natural resources and the biodiversity completeness could be helped by the national parks, laying the solid foundation for our application of more World Heritages. Last question, please. Thank you. From the Jing News of Hong Kong. My question is, what is the status quo of heritage protection and utilization? And the application of World Heritages must be significant in its meaning in terms of transmitting the Chinese culture. So what's the meaning? You made the point. The World Heritage application is of great significance to the passing on of Chinese civilization. Mr. Zhang will answer your question. For this moment, China has successfully applied for 37 World Cultural Heritages, including the representatives of Chinese culture in different historical times and in different places. It also showcases the transmission of the long-standing Chinese history and culture. We also share our ecology. Through those heritages, we have successfully and vividly shown the history to the outside world, and it also helped the mutual trust between different nations. We have earned the trust and respect of other nations. To better protect and pass on the world treasures, we are building our capacity, improving our management organizations and laws and regulations. Gradually, we have a complete system of World Heritage protection. The central budget has set aside a dedicated sum for World Heritage protection for example, the Great Wall, the Palace Museum, the temples like Budapest, the Buddha Palace, and also we have innovated the measures of protection, for example, through multidisciplinary protection. We hope that the achievements and the theories of the cultural heritage protection could be developed together. And World Heritages have also been the new engine of local economy. They can effectively boost the awareness of the general public about heritage protection. Meanwhile, international communication has been deepened. Together with the World Heritage Center, international organizations, and certain member countries, China has established a profound relationship by staging a series of international conferences, introducing some international documents, and cooperating over some key archaeology projects, contributing with Chinese wisdom and experience to the framework of World Heritage protection. And our efforts also boosted our international peers' understanding and acceptance of Chinese civilization. All in all, the World Heritages are also the key materials with the highest value among all traditional Chinese culture. They exhibit the profound background of Chinese civilization and China's unique contribution to world civilization. We will continue to practice the spirits of General Secretary Xi Jinping to elevate the overall level of management of the heritage protection so that the World Heritage protection could contribute more to people's livelihood improvement and local economic and social development. Thank you, Minister Tian, Governor Zheng, and all the other leaders, and thank you all media friends for your participation. This is the end of our presser. Thank you.